Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I was already introduced. I'm Peter Skondro. I'm working as a sales engineer at Sophos. Who is Sophos? We have a Greek name, but we are a British company, and we are also concentrating on IT security. So we are one of the biggest European IT security vendors out there. And today I want to talk about our next generation concept, synchronized security. But before I'm talking about our products and our solutions, I just want to talk a few minutes about the threat landscape nowadays. We have seen that IoT devices are also an IT security threat, and we have really seen in the last years an evolution of IT security threats. So when we look back like 20 years from today, internet was still new for all of us, but we have seen really that IT security and the bad guys in IT, so the criminals, were adopting really fast. So while 20, 15 years ago we had some problems with some people that we typically call script kiddies, they just wanted to put some digital graffiti on the web, we see that the business really evolved. So we have seen more professional malware coming up. We have seen the rise of cryptocurrencies, which made the rise of ransomware possible now. Just yesterday, we had new ransomware attacks in Ukraine, in Russia, in Germany. So it's really a high topic today, and this is what I want to talk about. So what do we need to be aware of? It's getting more professional every day. So we are seeing around about 400,000 malware samples in our labs every day, over 100 million new malware samples every year, which means we also have to adapt and we have to improve our security of our organizations. So what we need to remember is that we are living in a digital age, really. So everyone here has at least one or two mobile devices with him, so we are connected constantly to the internet, meaning that our attack surface has grown exponentially in the last 20 years. So everyone is online all the time, so we have a lot of devices to attack as a criminal. So I'm not going anymore only against the servers, against the clients, I'm going after the mobile devices, the tablets. Everyone uses cloud technology, virtual technology nowadays, and the bad guys know this, and the bad guys adapt and go after these resources. And of course, the attacks are more sophisticated than ever. So the guys behind Locky made several millions last year, and they are reinvesting the money to have another attack wave put upon us, and we have to pay them to get our files back. So it's really a big business behind of it. It's not like the small group or individuals anymore. It's like something enterprise grade happening here, and they're attacking in a collaborating way, meaning they're not only attacking our clients, they're also attacking the servers and the network infrastructure. So what can we do against this? Of course, we have a lot of solutions in the IT security space. We have firewalls, we have antivirus, we have encryption, but a big problem is that we are typically talking about, well, single point solutions or best of breed solutions that are just focusing on one area. But with our concept of synchronized security, we want to change this, so we try to link endpoint technology like antivirus, like encryption, together with network technology to really deliver a better grade of protection for us and for our customers, of course, when it comes to the discovery of new threats, to the reaction to new threats, and of course also to the response to new threats. So, how will it look like? So, I can just take a small example from a bank. If a bank wants to protect the money in their vault, they will hire guards. And so will a normal company try to protect their resources, their data inside of the company. So for a bank, it will be one guy standing within the bank, so that's the endpoint guy, while on the right-hand side, we have the guards standing outside of the bank. And what works with guards, why shouldn't it work with IT security also? So if something happens inside or outside the building, what will these guards do? They will just pick up their walkie-talkie and they will communicate with each other. Listen, someone is just robbing the bank, he's running outside of a building, please grab him. And we want to make the same thing in IT security. So what we want to do, we want to have an endpoint capable of communicating with the firewall. So whenever we run into a problem, either on the network side or on the endpoint side, so someone tries to compromise us, we want to block this threat and we want to inform the other components so they can act accordingly. So What do we gain with this synchronized security? We get an accelerated threat discovery because the components talk to each other. They automatically know when something bad is happening on one endpoint, for example. We also get an active source identification. We know which endpoint is infected, which process is running the attack, so we can react to these threats. And we also get an automated incident response, meaning that the firewall, for example, could isolate compromised clients as long as they are compromised. After this, the isolation will end. So I've prepared 2 use cases here to make it more visible for you to understand our concept. So on the right-hand side, we have our next generation firewall. On the left-hand side, we have a notebook running 2 of our products. One is our Sophos next generation endpoint solution. That's the small shield with the S. And then we have the small lock symbol, and that's our encryption solution. This will get especially important next year when GDPR is coming up upon all of us. So we have the solutions in place, but the good thing about it is they're working together. So what happens if you find a malware on one of these machines? So the endpoint solution will detect the malware, and the endpoint solution will turn to red. You can see this traffic light. This is what we call a security heartbeat. The traffic light indicates if the system is doing good or bad. Initially, it was green, everything was fine with the system. Now it's red, so something is going wrong. And now this information can be shared with other components. So now the endpoint knows he's been compromised, so he will communicate with the encryption solution, tell the encryption solution, listen, something is going wrong here. And then the encryption solution can just remove the encryption keys, so we cannot get access to the clear text anymore. So if someone steals my files, they will be encrypted, they will be protected by our solution. The other thing that takes place, we will communicate with the firewall, tell the firewall, listen, I'm currently compromised, so please treat me in a special way, and the firewall will react. The firewall will then isolate the client, meaning all the communication going through the firewall to the internet or to your production servers will be blocked. This will take place automatically, so the administrator doesn't have to do anything. It's completely automated, and on the endpoint, the remediation process is already starting. Once everything is okay again, the security heartbeat will turn to green again, the encryption keys will be reloaded from the main server, and the firewall won't isolate the client anymore. So in this case, we had an infection, but the system took care of everything. It solved everything by itself without manual interaction of the administrator. Another nice example to show you this scenario with synchronized security is this. Now imagine we would run solutions that are not built to work together. So we have a nice firewall from vendor A, and we will have an endpoint solution from vendor B, encryption solution from vendor C. So what will happen if probably a device gets compromised? We are talking about IT security. IT security is not 100%. Never in IT we can achieve 100%. We are always targeting like the 5 nines because we know it's an illusion to have 100%. So whatever endpoint solution, for example, you will have installed, there is no 100% security that it won't get compromised. So in case this happens, what happens typically with modern malware is that the dropper which is running on the endpoint will communicate to the outside world. He will communicate with command control server, which tells him steal data, encrypt the data, activate a webcam, whatever. So modern malware is always communicating home to command control servers. And modern firewalls can catch this traffic, so they can spot the command control server traffic. And now they would probably isolate this client, and the attack is stopped at the first moment, but now the problem begins. So the network administrator will get an alert. He will see that some machine is compromised. He will call the endpoint administrator and tell the endpoint administrator, please fix this machine. It was compromised, something happened. And the endpoint administrator has 2 choices now. The first choice is doing some forensic research. What happened on a machine? Can I somehow remove this malware, which my endpoint solution didn't find, via boot CD or whatever? Or the second option is just to basically format the drive, install a new image, recover the backups. But in both cases, we are losing time, and time is money. Therefore, wouldn't it be nicer if the system would take care of it by itself? So when going back to the Sophos world with synchronized security, what will happen? The firewall spots the attack, but the firewall is also communicating with the endpoint and telling the endpoint, listen, you've been compromised. There is a process running on this network port, so please react. The endpoint, even if he didn't spot the malware in the first place, now he has the information to stop the malware, so he will end the process, and he will inform the other attached systems, for example, the encryption agent, please remove the keys, we've been compromised. So this is how our system works. It's similar to football. If one defender misses the ball, the other defender jumps in, kicks it away. So we want to prevent a goal, and we want to prevent a compromise of your systems. So just to summarize it, what do we give you? We give you an unparalleled protection. We really have best-of-breed solutions with next-gen technologies built to work together. You will get an automated incident response, so you do not have to do anything manually anymore. It just runs automatically. And after anything happens, you will get a real-time insight, what happened on your machine, how did your machine become compromised, and we will also give you an idea how to prevent this in the future. This is already integrated in a lot of our solutions, so in our next generation endpoint solutions, in our server solutions for Windows and for Linux, of course, in our encryption solution, and of course in our next generation firewall. And the best thing about it, it's centrally managed by one single console, which we call Sophos Central, and offers you analysis for all the products over here. So last but not least, I hope you liked my presentation. I will have a workshop at 4, so please join me if you're interested. Last but not least, I've seen a lot of students are also here. We are doing only B2B business, but we are giving a lot of free tools away for private persons, so please give it a try. We have antivirus for Mac, for Windows, and for Linux, of course, we have security for Android system, and we even have home use firewalls. So give it a try, visit our website, sophos.com, and thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.